So in these problems, we're going to have to graph a hyperbola given the equation in standard form. And so the first thing that we're going to need to do is if we're given the problem, we have to first get it from the general form into the standard form. So for example, graph 9x squared minus 25y squared plus 90x plus 200y minus 400 equals 0. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to regroup stuff so my x's are together, my y's are together, and then I am going to move everything that's doesn't have an x or a y to the other side. I'm going to put my x's first since the coefficient on the x squared term is positive. So we're going to have 9x squared plus 90x. And then I'm also going to have plus minus 25y squared plus 200y. And then we're going to move the 400 to the other side, so equals 400. And so now out of the first piece, I can factor out a 9. So I have 9 times x squared plus 10x. I'm going to leave myself some room. The second piece, I can factor out a 25. So 25 times y squared minus 8y, leave myself some room, equals 400. So if I look at the x squared plus 10x part, if I take half of 10, that's going to be 5. 5 squared is 25. So we're adding 25 to this side, and to keep stuff balanced, since I added on the left side, I'm going to have to add over here on the right-hand side. Notice I didn't add just 25, I added 9 times 25, so we're going to add 9 times 25. And then we're going to do a similar thing with the y squared parts. So we're going to take half of negative 8, which is negative 4. We're going to take negative 4 squared, which is 16. So we're going to add 16 in here. But again, I didn't just add 16. I added negative 25 times 16. And so now we're going to kind of make these nicer. So I have right now 9 times the quantity x plus 5 squared minus 25 times the quantity y minus 4 squared. And if I take 400 plus 9 times 25 plus negative 25 times 16, I end up with 225. And so now what I want to do is, remember in my standard form, on this side, everything is equal to 1. So we're going to divide everything by 225. And so we're going to end up with x plus 5 squared over 25 minus y minus 4 squared over 9 equals 1. And so now I am at a point where I can graph. So let me put my graph paper over here. Okay, so our center is going to be at negative 5, 4. So we're going to go to negative 5 and then up to 4. And then on the bottom of the x's, I have 5 squared. On the bottom of the y's, I have 3 squared. So we're going to move in both of those. So we're going to go on the x direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the y direction, we're going to go 3. 3. And that is going to make our box for us to graph. And then since the x squared, the x term was the first one, we're going to be going sideways once we get our asymptotes in here. So here's my one asymptote. Right, here's my second one. Alex does a much better job of making them straight than I do. And so we're going to go sideways with each of these. So we'll do one more. And let me add in my graph this time first, so I kind of don't end up going over the space there. Actually, it wasn't so bad down here. Okay, so b minus 4x squared plus y squared plus 8x plus 4y minus 36 equals 0. So again, I'm going to group my x's together. I'm going to group my y terms together. Anything that doesn't have an x or y, I'm going to move to the other side. Since this time the y squared term is what's positive, I'm going to start with the y squared terms, or with the y terms. We're going to have y squared plus 4y plus minus 4x squared plus 8x. Move the 36 to the other side, equals 36. So there's nothing, my y squared term on the first piece is already a 1, so I can just leave that as y squared plus 4y. Leave a little bit of room. I can factor out a minus 4 in the second piece to get my x squared term to have a coefficient of 1. So minus 4 times x squared minus 2x is equal to 36. So now if I look at these, so half of 4 is 2, and 2 squared is 4. So we're going to add 4 to this side. So if I add 4 to the left side, I have to add 4 to the right side. If I look at this middle one, minus 2 times 1/2 is negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. So I'm adding 1. So since I add 1 to the left side, I have to add to the right side. But remember, I didn't add just 1. I added negative 4 times 1. So in this case, we end up with y plus 2 quantity squared minus 4 times x minus 1 quantity squared equals 36. And then again, I want to get the original, I want to get it equal to 1, so we're going to divide everything by 36. So we've got y plus 2 quantity squared over 36 minus x minus 1 squared over 9 equals 1. So again, my center is going to be at 1 comma negative 2. So if we go to 1, negative 2, and then on the y direction, I'm going to go 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the x direction, we're going to go 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And so if we think about making this box, and then we're putting the asymptotes through this. And then since the y is the first piece, we're going to be on the top and the bottom here of the box. So we're looking at something that looks kind of roughly like this. Right, and again, Alex does better pictures, but a rough sketch by hand, that's perfect.